Hi, ladies. Alicia, there's a picture of you.
Yeah, it's old. I'm not presentable right now. I got a baby on the boob, so this will have to do.
I finally figured out how to put a picture there. Like one day, I was like, oh, I was the only person with like a black screen or like just my name, and I was like, let me figure out how I can go put an actual picture on here.
Well, something is wrong with my computer. I'm so annoyed because I have no idea what, but I'm like dead in the water without it. So of course I have time to figure it out, which is I don't. But
So what's wrong with your computer? It's just like not working, or what?
I was using it for Austin's Taekwondo, and one night I was trying to get on it, and it had to update, and it took like forever to update. And then it's saying something about my OneDrive like isn't signed in or something, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I don't have a password for it. I have no idea. So I gotta sit down with it and try to figure it out. But Nick was trying to figure it out, and he couldn't even figure it out. So hopefully it's not doomed.
Do you have an Apple or do you have like an HP?
It's like a Dell.
Yeah, I had no luck with those. I had to get an Apple. Like, I mean, right now mine's on like overload, and every time Jamie uses my computer, he's like, "If you don't delete stuff, this thing is like literally gonna catch on fire because you have so much stuff on there."
Well, I have like no virus protection on it, like no nothing. I try to not use it too much. It used to drive Brooke nuts all the time because we'd be at the coffee shop and she'd be like, "Are you using your phone to do that?" And I'm like, "Yes, I use my phone for everything."
Yeah, and it takes so much longer on your phone too. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I know. It's a dumpster fire. I got to get a new one.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for bearing with us last week. If you guys don't live in the Connecticut, like PA, New York area, none of us had power for like a week. It was ridiculous. All right, waiting for Haley. I don't see her on here yet. Hi, Mrs. Newman.
I know, sorry. I had to go on my school Chrome. Shh, don't tell anybody. Because I wanted to present something and I couldn't figure it out from my phone. So it's like, forget it. And my sister's going to be a couple minutes late, but
no worries.
Whatever.
All right, well, I asked Steph and Haley to do a team call. It was supposed to be last week. So again, thank you for rearranging everything. And thank you, Steph and Haley, we were like chatting last weekend. Like every day we're like, nope, not looking good. Not going to happen tonight. I'm going to push it back. So, but I asked them to do a team call because they have just been crushing it. And, you know, Steph was like a discount coach for, she'll tell you her spiel, but for a while, and then like something clicked and she just is on fire. And then she brought on her sister, and her sister went diamond. What is it, Steph, in like 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah. So obviously they're doing something right. And I feel like when you guys hear me, when you hear Brooke, and when you hear Kristen, you just hear like, wah, wah, wah. So it's like, I want you guys to hear somebody else have success with this business and what they're doing, and maybe something will click. And obviously they could be doing something totally different than what the rest of us are doing. So it's just nice to hear just different people's perspective on what's working and stuff. So take it away, Steph, and make sure you guys are muted. If you aren't muted, just because it's hard to hear whoever's speaking. So I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, I was gonna say before you do that, Haley's not here yet, but I think she's gonna be a couple minutes late because she's just getting the little one to sleep. So she said she'll be on. Will you be able to see if I'm sharing the screen? Can you see her come in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna see if I can get my screen started too. It's just a few slides so I don't lose my thought. Actually, hold on here. So I gotta go down here, right at the bottom, share. Desktop. It's been a while. I'm rusty since we've had school and I haven't had to do this, but I'm sure I'll be doing it a lot soon. Can somebody just tell me if you can see this?
I can see it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so just a couple of slides. Like, I'm just going to keep it like this as long as you can see it. But my sister, like I said, she should be joining very, very soon. But I'm Stephanie, for those of you that don't know me. And my sister Haley will be on soon. And we both have been with Beachbody we have different stories. So I feel like I should just tell you a little bit about us before we start. So I became a coach last year in July. So I've been coaching and doing the programs only for a year. However, I've been actively working my business since June of this year. And the reason being is that I had, when I signed up with Brooke, she, I think I've told most of you before, but, she was like, no, you should be a coach. And I was like, I don't really want to work the business. I can't sell stuff, blah, 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 all the objections. I had them all. So I said, I'm just going to be a hobby coach. I'm busy. We'll see how it happens. We'll go what happens and blah, 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 to work from there. So this summer, I decided that there's school's over. I needed a break from distance learning. I'm like, this is perfect time to work my business. My husband had lost his job. So I said, I really need to, try to work hard. So I literally started, actually May 31st was when I was like, that's it. I'm going to really push it. So I did. And so I've only been actively working my business since June, beginning of June, end of May. And from June to July, I went from actively working my business to Emerald to Diamond. So, and I'm, I don't have any kids, and, like I said, this is my off time, but I am a teacher. I do teach summer school. I coach soccer. So even though we're not at school, I am starting to do conditioning and things like that. I just got married. So, just a lot of stuff going on. So that's a little bit about me. Haley, are you here to talk about you?
Hi, I'm here now. Sorry, everybody.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Haley. Sorry, I was a little late. My kids are being really difficult with bedtime lately. So, for the past 3.5 years, pretty much. So that's just my life right now. Oh, is that me doing that sound? Okay. I am a mom of 2 little girls. I am a speech language pathologist, and I own a pediatric therapy practice. So that keeps me pretty busy. I'm trying to turn this down in case it's my echo. And I don't know where my headphones were. So.
Mute yourself and see if that helps.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a PhD student, and that's the main things that I do. Yeah. So I am definitely a busy person, but this is really important to me. So I have been, finding time to fit it into my schedule. So I really just started because I wanted to do fitness under Steph, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm jumping in. And then as soon as I got a little taste of like what it was going to be, I'm like, okay, here I go. I have to meet the next goal. I'm going to do it. So I started being a coach in July, and I've only been working for this, this past month. And I was able to meet Diamond in that month. So I was really excited to be able to achieve that first goal that I set for myself. So, okay, that's me.
Awesome. All right. So just a couple things. And this is like, we're kind of just going to piggyback off each other, but the main thing we want to talk about is that, a lot of people, will say, oh my gosh, like you guys are doing so well. And like, what, you're the dynamic duo. We've been hearing like all these things. It's not magic, and we're not, it's not magically happen. It's magically happening. It's what we are putting in. You can only get out what you put in. So here's some of the things, just to kind of talk about a few of them that we have been doing despite our busy schedules. And like I said, Haley's busy is different from my busy. We make it work, So here's just a couple of things. And like I said, Haley, chime in too whenever you want. But most importantly, I think, is like going on these calls. That has helped me tremendously. I've told Brooke and Crystal this many times. Like, if I didn't go on these calls, go to the meetings, listen to the podcasts, watch any video I possibly can, check out the team pages. If I wasn't doing those things, then there's no way I would have been successful. So
and I think with the meetings too, right? It's really important because you can like Facebook chat and text somebody all you want when you have questions, but like talking face to face like this is really where you're going to be able to get the answers that you need to hear, and then to like have the information repeated over and over again. So I feel like that's why attending live is the best thing that you could really do if you can make it work.
Absolutely. And then next thing is sharing your story. That's something that I didn't feel comfortable with right at the beginning. And I know Haley didn't either, and it's, you really have to take the plunge and like put yourself out there. If this is what you want to do, if you really want to work your business, you have to tell people about you know, what it entails, what your journey is, what you're doing. Like, you need to tell people. If you're not going on every day on Facebook and you're not, you know, doing things, like, people aren't going to be seeing what you're doing. So that's something that's really super important. And Haley, I know, like, maybe you want to touch on how you were a little skeptical.
Totally. Yeah. In the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't ever want to put a picture with my shirt off, like in my sports bra. I'm like, no way, I can't do it. Like, I own this therapy practice. So, like, is that weird? Because I'm friends with some of the moms that bring their kids there, right? So I was like a little bit nervous about doing that kind of stuff on there. But then I thought about it a little bit more and I was like, who cares? I'm showing positive things, right? Like, I'm not putting negative stuff or bad things or things that I wouldn't want people to see necessarily. And if you don't want to take your shirt off, that's fine too, right? Like, you could wear a shirt in it. And that's not the thing. It was just, I felt really uncomfortable, like, thinking about posting all of these things just because maybe I wasn't used to posting that way. But then when I just thought about what it entailed, I was like, who cares? Really, it's fine.
Same thing. The next important thing is inviting. And again, I know you guys know this, we do our invite blitzes and we do all that, but you know, I never really realized how important it was to send out the invites and to really think about your groups and who you're sending things to. To me, in the beginning, inviting was like, okay, I'll tell my sister, I'll tell the girl I work with, I'll tell this person, but you really have to. And I think invite and comfort zone go together. You got to step out of your comfort zone and send out the messages. You got to add more followers every day. You have to just really put yourself out there and utilize the social media. I know that Crystal has said too many times, like, she didn't have this to do. We have a wonderful tool where we can promote our business, and that's what we're doing. Haley, anything?
I think with like inviting people, right? Like, obviously everybody has that like fear of rejection. But more times than not, if someone doesn't answer me, I'm like, okay, whatever, like, no big deal. I don't answer sometimes my mom when she texts me because I'm busy and I forget to read it or whatever, right? So, like, I don't take any offense if somebody doesn't answer me. But a lot of the times, even if somebody says no to me, they say, I appreciate you reaching out though, and I really like watching you share your story and all the posts that you do and everything like that. So then I'm like, oh, cool, like, that makes me feel good that even if this person is saying no right now, like, it doesn't mean that they think I'm annoying by everything that I'm doing. So I think that, like, you can reach out to people who you think might not even be thinking of doing this, and then all of a sudden those people are going to be the ones that say yes.
Yeah, those are your surprise people.
For sure.
Next, read your emails. And I say that read in big letters because we have leaders above us, Crystal, Brooke, you know, a lot of coaches on this team that put in a lot of time and effort to give us information. And I'll admit there's times when I'm like, oh no, like, and I'll ask Brooke a question or whatever, but there's so much information that I've learned just by reading the emails about keeping up to date with stuff. Like, how easy is it for when someone asks you a question, if you know, like, you know, how much this costs or what's ingredient is in this product or what's the sale of the month. If you know that stuff, when somebody is reaching out to you, you're more likely going to have a sale because, you know, you're not like, oh, hold on, let me get back to you. If you're reading your emails, you're up to date with everything, dates, products, and things, you're more likely to have your customer right off the bat. So
and anything that's not in there or that you don't know, it's like really, right? Google is like the best thing in the world. You just put FAQ, beach body, and then literally anything you want to know. It's like, wow, magically the answer is there for you, and you're able to just answer the question really quickly. So that's also very useful.
Yep. I mean, and we kind of put posts and stories too, but I think this is something that I didn't realize was so important either. I was like, okay, I'll just put up a transformation post and slap it online once in a while, but it's not just that. And I've learned through my peers and through everything that, you know, all of you guys, a lot of you, that you have to post about your life. So you have people that are, you know, knowing like your 10 things about you. You got to post about your fitness journey. You got to post about things because you have people following you. And then in your stories too, people are waiting to see you. They want to see you show up. And I'll admit, this last week I've been kind of slacking because I said, you know, we had the power, and I'm not making excuses. I guess maybe I am, but like, we didn't have the power on and stuff and whatever. And I realized, like, oh my God, like, I didn't really reach out to people. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. And I wasn't posting on my stories, and nobody was really answering me. So it really is important to be consistent and follow through with your stories and your posts.
And with Facebook and Instagram, something to keep in mind is that they reward you, those platforms reward you when you use their newer features or their features that they really like, right? So when a new feature comes out on Instagram's, like the Reel is like a new thing that just came out. If you start using that feature, Instagram is going to favorite you in their algorithm, and they're going to put you in on top and have more people see your stuff, right? So you want to be you don't want to just be doing the same type of post. You want to be switching it up a little bit, because the platforms are going to reward you for that. And also, like, touching on like the 10 things that Steph just mentioned, for me, right, like the people who follow me on Instagram, they've been following me for however long. It's because they like seeing posts about my kids, homeschooling, the food that I make, right? I'm plant-based, so like I have a lot of vegan followers on there. So I don't all of a sudden just on my feed start posting fitness pictures, because that wouldn't be what my audience is looking to see. I post those things in my stories because that's just where I can share more of like other things in my life. But on my main feed, I'm still posting more of my family pictures and things like that. Now, that's not what everybody necessarily has to do, but I know that's, you know, what the people are looking for currently that follow me. So you have to just be mindful. That kind of goes into know your audience too. You just have to be mindful of, you don't want to all of a sudden be like, you used to post family pictures and food, and then like every day you start now posting only fitness pictures of yourself, right? That would like maybe confuse the people who you that typically follow you already.
Right, exactly. And then, like we said, be consistent. So that kind of goes with all these things. Just keep doing all that. And then the last one, know your audience, kind of goes into the next slide. So I'll put it up. So, I mean, Haley, you want to start?
Sure.
Or want me to?
Yeah, no. So, right, everybody has a different market for sure, right? Like there's different people who I would reach out to because I would connect with them on a level differently than Steph would, and vice versa, right? So I'm a mom, I'm breastfeeding still, and I own a business that works with kids. So I might try to reach out to those people who are in a similar situation as me, right? So like if somebody asks a question about breastfeeding and things like that, I'm able to help and provide support for that, versus like if it was about, I can't think of a good example of something, but you know, something that I don't really know much about, I might not be the right exact perfect fit for that person, right? So I'm going to purposely try to reach out to people who have similar interests as me, or who are in similar situations as me, because then I could be the most helpful for them, and they're most likely going to want to work with me as opposed, you know, to somebody else maybe. And Steph and I think we're going to talk about this after, so I don't say too much of it, but we always help each other with things, right? So like if somebody had a question about breastfeeding, I wouldn't say, okay, well, I need to take that person and put them on my team. It doesn't work like that. I'd be like, oh, here's how you would answer that question, right? So that's part of it too.
Or like I would refer, you know, I'd say, you know what, like there has been someone that has said to me, like, I don't know, like, can I use the containers, or can I use this product if I'm breastfeeding or nursing? And I don't have any kids, so I don't know. So I'm like, you know what, let me have you talk to my sister. She's a mom, she's nursed, she does this. And so it's like nice to work together. But with that being said, I feel like it's important to kind of know all the other things. And I try to keep this in mind, like when I'm posting on my story, and in the beginning, I would just be like, here's my workout every day. Next day, here's my workout. Here's my workout. But then I'm like, you know what? Not everybody wants your workout. It's like you have to talk about serving versus selling. Like, who do you need to serve? What is your purpose? Like, what are people looking for? You should be trying to serve the busy mom who needs energized because she can't, you know, get on with her day. You need to reach out to that person who's dying with nutrition because they can't use their portions the right way, or they don't know how to plate their food.
You got out. Steph? I'm gonna text her.
Whatever. Then, you know, the next day, like, you might say, let me think about how I can talk about Shakeology with people's digestive health or our digestive boost. So I try, and I know Haley does too, we try to incorporate all these things. I used to just be like, mom juice workout. And I'm like, that's not working. I have to kind of like, you know, reach out, because there are people that need different things. They don't just need the workout like I did in the beginning, you know? So.
And also on this too, another thing that we didn't put on here, but being a part of the business too is another type of way you can market this, right? Because we all want to build our business here, right? That's why we're all here. And we want coaches who want to work too, right? So you want to find a lot of people who want to actually work versus just be an affiliate for the discount. So you can also market, hey, look at all this cool stuff I can do because of this business opportunity. So that's another thing that you can market. And you just want to, you don't want to do the same thing every day. You want to switch it up and be able to be diverse in what you're, the information you're putting out there.
And that's something that you and I, Haley, both talked about recently too. I said to her the other day, I said, I'm changing my approach a little bit. I'm not going to put out like, guess what? You get this, you get that. Who's going to join me? Are you ready? Look at that. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to change it. I put a picture up the other day and I basically just did a couple of funny hashtags and was like, you know what? When your shorts fit you again. And, if you change your mentality, then people start reaching out, because I find like when I start putting the same, like, are you ready? Do you want to join me? I'm getting less people liking my pictures because they're like, uh-oh, that girl's going to reach out to me, So you kind of have to like switch it around and like try to get some new people in and change up your approach. And same thing with Haley. She said, yeah, it's funny you said that. She goes, I'm going to do the same thing. She's like, I'm going to try to go for, making kind of family oriented and showing it and trying to get people on the coaching aspect of it. So like, you kind of have to change your approach sometimes too, because if you keep doing the same thing, and I think that's where people get stuck. They keep doing the same thing, and then you're not having anything happen. So anything else on that, Haley, or should I think we only have just a couple more quick. Yeah, 2 more.
Move on.
Ready? Okay. So the next thing is too, and this is something that it took me a long time to really understand, is that people need you, because, again, like you reach out, but you don't realize that they're all watching you. They're all following you. They're motivated by you. Like, and a lot of the times, like Haley said, like you need to keep reaching out to them and you need to follow up, because I've had so many people say to me, oh, I'm so happy you reached out. Even if it's 3 or 4 times later, they'll say, I'm so happy you reached out to me because I really do need to get started. So it's only a matter of people, when they're ready, they will come to you. But if you keep following up and reaching out, if you're not doing that, and you're going to get discouraged and it's not going to happen. So you have to be consistent no matter what the situation is. Anything else, Haley?
I don't think so. I think that sums it up.
Did I cover it? Okay, good. And then we have just one last one. This is something that, you want to start with this, Haley? Because this is what you were kind of going into before.
Yeah. So, and when I told Steph I want to do the program, whatever, like I was like, I feel gross. I need to exercise. Right. And so I signed up. She's like, you should coach. And I'm like, no. And then she's like, you should try it, whatever. And I was like, okay, but who am I going to get to sign up? Because we are friends with the same people. We have the same friends, right? We're 10 years apart, but I don't have that many friends, like straight up. I don't really have that many friends. I just have a couple of close friends, but most of my friends are Steph's friends. So I was like, well, who the heck am I going to get to sign up? Because you already took everyone. And she's like, there's people, right? There's people. And I just had to think about it a little bit, right? And I've obviously been able to connect with people, and you can have the same friends. You can be in the same group of friends. You could be in the same town, and there's still going to be people, because that going back to different people connect with different things, right? So somebody, I might reach out to would respond differently to me or to her, right? And just whoever is the right fit for that person. So there's definitely people. You have to think outside of just your box of your friends, right? Because if I just only reached out to my friends, I would have like 2 people to sign up. Okay. And that, like that, obviously I've been able to find more people. You have to think further, and you can connect with people that you don't know. That's a good thing to do too, right? And that's part of it. You'll find people along the way, and other people will come up in your path. So that's something that I feel like gets said a lot, like, oh, there's nobody left because, we're all in the same area, but it's really not true.
And it's like a ripple effect. Cause like you said, once you start reaching outside of your circle, it's like those people know people who are watching all them. And then it just eventually comes back to you, it's full circle. So like Haley has her pediatric, her business, her center where she has all that. She knows a lot of different therapists and, different parents and people from that. I'm a teacher. I know a lot of parents of the kids who have sisters and who want to sign up, who have friends, who have this. Today I was telling Haley, and it is a mutual friend, but like a friend, like of a friend of a friend, like all the way who's in France is like going to sign up. Like it's just crazy how it can expand. And I think this is like the most important part the point we wanted to make to everybody, because again, if we are sisters who have all the same family and a lot of the same friends, and we can both be successful, then anybody can be successful. I think that's like the major point of this whole talk, is like, as long as you're doing the things you're supposed to do. And again, so when someone's discouraged and, it might not be that you have the same mutual friends, because I thought the same thing too. Same thing. I'm like, oh man, as soon as Brooke, signed me up, I'm like, man, we have like 300 mutual friends. We went to high school together. We only are like a year apart, like from each other. I'm like, but look, she's very successful. And Haley had mentioned that too. She's like, well, I guess you're right. If she keeps finding people, Crystal's been doing this for a long time, and she keeps finding people.
Right? They've been doing this for years and years, and you still have like a ridiculous number of people that you sign up every month.
Right.
So I'm like, obviously there is always going to be people out there. You just need to find them. And it takes effort, right? It's not like they're not just going to always walk up to you. Is it the best feeling when somebody messages you out of nowhere and says, hey, can I like get more info about what you're doing? I want to sign up. That's the best feeling, right? But that's not always going to happen. You have to work to find people, but they're there. They're there.
Right. So we hope this was kind of helpful for you guys. Like I said, I have to take my own advice. I was telling Haley today, I'm like, man, I only have a few people with August. I'm like, I got to step on my own, take my own advice and kick it up a notch. But I think it's good. We have each other to work with and to build off each other, to motivate each other. So hopefully this is helpful to all of you. We hope that if anything,
And that's another thing, like a good thing to check in with somebody, like, right? Like we check in with each other every single day. We do this anyways because we're sisters. So we just do this in our regular aspects of life. But now this is like another thing that we can connect on. So it's really fun that we get to do it together. And whether it's like to be like, oh, like this sucked, that like where there was a hard day with something, or if it's something good where we celebrate, right? We always celebrate with each other when we have good things. Or I'll be like, oh man, I reached out to this person and they told me they already signed up with you. Right. So like we always just check in with each other every single day. So if you have, somebody that you could do that with, like, I think that really helps.
In the beginning, she said to me, she's like, every time I reach out to somebody, you've already talked to them. She's like, can you write down a list of all the people that are your clients or that you've reached out to? I was like,
I didn't want to
no,
keep annoying everybody.
Long, Haley. I was like, I can't. I'm like, if they want to sign up with you, that's fine. But I'm like, how about if you want to ask me first, the person? I'm like, there's no way.
So a lot of times if it's someone we both know, I'm like, hi, did you already talk to this person before I go here? Usually.
And we also want you to know that we're very supportive of everybody else. Like, there's been plenty of times when I've talked to someone and said, oh, like, I'm already with Brooke, or, oh, I've been talking with Crystal, or, and we're very supportive. Like, awesome. That's great. We're on the same team. We're so excited. Like, we're happy that you're going on the right track with your fitness. So it's all about also not being like, oh, she got more people or she got more people, just helping each other and encouraging and celebrating each other. So,
and that's part of not being salesy too, right? Because like if somebody says, oh, I've talked to this person or whatever, and if you were like, oh, well, you should sign up with me because of X, Y, and Z, like that's a super salesy thing to do. And so that's why sometimes I think like when we're talking about not being salesy, people think salesy means saying, oh, if this costs this much, do you want to buy it? Which obviously that is, but there's also other ways of being salesy that's like a little bit more indirect. So that would be a way of doing that, or like, or when we're talking about only posting the same things over and over again, that's another way of being salesy. So those are important things I think to keep in mind too.
and that's it.
We all want to support each other, right? Like that's what this whole thing is about.
So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask us now or anytime, and we're here for you guys too. Like we want to support everybody, so that's it.
So I have a question. So, because I know you guys don't have a lot of time to work like every day. So are you guys working from like the success tracker? Like, are you working from like a list? So you're like, okay, I know I did this today. Because I feel like that's helpful for like new coaches to know exactly what you guys are doing like every single day to like be successful.
I do a list. I have my own list that I just made up myself, and it's like, make sure you connect with this many people, you do this, you check your back office. It's just like a checklist of things that I make sure I do. And I know it's going to come in handy because when I do start with school, I'm going to be hectic and I'm going to have to make sure that I can fit it in. So yes, keeping track, 100% important. Checklist.
And mine too includes like, what type of post did I do this, like, am I planning to do this week to make sure I am switching it up? And also like keeping track of, I try to do as much like interactive types of stories as possible. So that's on my list to do something that people can respond to, whether it's sometimes like a poll saying like, yes, I want more information, but also sometimes just like regular questions like, what's your favorite vegetable that you give your kids, when like I post a picture of like a meal that I gave my kids. So that's something that's on my list of things to do daily, is to do interactive posts and also to make sure I'm switching up mine. But yeah, I think having some sort of system, whether it is, there's that really great resource that's the SC tracker in the group. And if you have like, I don't know if I just have this because I'm a mom / homeschooler, but like there's like these little, you can, instead of laminating stuff, you just slip it right into this clear sheet and you can just reuse the same paper. So you don't have to keep printing it out all the time, and you can just use it as like a wipe away thing. So that's a good resource that's in there. But if it doesn't work exactly for you, then just make your own, right?
Between that and Post-it notes, that's like my life. I have Post-it notes everywhere that I update daily. So my checklist.
Thank you. It was so helpful. Does anybody have any questions for them?
No questions, but thank you.
Welcome. I'm glad that we could be helpful.
Yeah. So I'm like looking, I finally switched it to grid and now I'm like looking around.
Oh yeah, let me do that too.
Who I'm looking at.
Oh yeah, I've never done this because I'm usually on my phone. So
I know, I'm
usually
on my computer. This is so exciting because normally I'm just like, usually it's just my picture on my thing because it's like usually a bedtime fight and I'm usually in bed. So I snuck down here and I'm even having a glass of wine because
Nice.
that was the day.
Awesome. So no questions for them? You guys are good? All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for rescheduling like 4 times. I so appreciate it. It was an awesome call. And you guys, both of you, I think lit a fire under everyone's ass. Like, I think once like, Brooke messaged me like one day, she's like, shit, Steph's at Success Club 50. We got to go. Because we just were always like somewhere at the top. And it was like when somebody was catching up, we're like, shit, we got work to do. Like, we gotta light a fire under my own ass, you know? So thank you. I think you guys, both of you combined, just lit a huge fire under everybody's ass. And it's nice. Like sometimes you bring people in and they just think it's hard, and it's like, it's not hard. It's like you're doing the work behind the scenes. This business is so easy and it's fun and it's, you know, it can bring you so much joy. So thank you. I feel like you brought that back to our team, you know, because sometimes it's like a little like this. So I thank you guys for bringing the momentum back and lighting that fire under us, because I know we needed it. I know I needed it. So, and this call I needed as well.
We're happy to, I just love it too. I love the team. I love the bond. I love everything together. I just love the community part of it. So it's awesome.
Yeah, that's one, like really my favorite part too, because for me, like a lot of the things I do, it's like, I feel like I'm like, I don't have coworkers really. I'm like alone, I feel like, right? Because like at my office, like I'm the boss essentially. I don't make it like that, but I still am the boss, and then there are my employees. Or then right in school, like it's a PhD program, so it's like you're kind of just on your own doing your own thing. So for me, this is like a really cool sense of community that I don't really have somewhere else. So thank you guys for like when everyone is just supporting each other's posts. I'm like, that makes my heart really happy. So.
Yeah.
And then one of our other sister, Shelby, has her baby soon. We're like working on her to get on board with us too, so she could join our team too.
Really pushing that.
Is there, how many of you are there? There's 3 of you?
There's 3 of us, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's due soon, so we're gonna try to get her back on board.
That's so
She
great.
was a Beachbody coach in the past too, so we're gonna try to get her lured back in. We're like, come on, you want to be in the group, the club with us? So,
That's awesome. Love that.
all right, well, thank you guys. We appreciate your time.
Thank you guys so much.
That was awesome. Thanks,
Welcome.
ladies.
Thank you guys.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye guys.
Thank you.